Bobby Beausoleil, who was born Robert Kenneth Beausoleil, was born on November 6, 1947, in Santa Barbara, California. He is most notorious for having been a member of the Manson family, where he murdered Gary Hinman. On July 25, 1969, Beausoleil, Mary Bruner, and Susan Atkins went to Hinman's house. There have been reports that Beausoleil was sold bad mescaline from Hinman, which he later sold to bikers, and the bikers wanted their money back. Another report stated that Charles Manson believed Hinman owned his house, cars, had money in stocks and bonds, and was to come into an inheritance of $20,000, the equivalent of $138,000 and some change in 2019. When asked for the money, it turned out that Gary Hinman had no money to give them. Beausoleil called Manson, who told him to keep Hinman captive and try to get the money from Gary. Eventually, Manson and another family member, Bruce Davis, came to the house with Beausoleil and the others. Once Manson arrived, he took a sword and struck Gary Hinman on the head, slicing the left side of his face and ear. Hinman, a practicing Buddhist, did not believe in violence and asked Manson to take the others and leave. Charles left with Bruce Davis in one of Gary Hinman's cars while the others stayed behind. Mary Bruner and Susan Atkins stitched Hinman's ear together with dental floss while he repeatedly asked them to leave. On July 27th, Beausoleil felt that he had no other choice but to kill Gary Hinman, as he thought that if he let him go, Hinman would call the cops on Manson and the family. Beausoleil then stabbed Hinman in the chest twice, while Hinman repeated a Buddhist chant. While Hinman was dying, Beausoleil, Susan Atkins, and Mary Bruner smothered him with a pillow. Once he died, Beausoleil wrote "Political Piggy" on a wall in Hinman's blood, then dipped his hand in the blood to print a paw print in an effort to make it seem like it was all the doing of the Black Panthers. As part of the plan to initiate Helter Skelter, a race war that Manson and the family believed in. On April 18, 1970, Beausoleil was convicted of first-degree murder and sentenced to death. In 1972, the state of California ruled that the death penalty was unconstitutional, and thus his sentence was commuted to life. In the meantime, Beausoleil has created multiple pieces of art and a musical discography. His albums span from 1981 all the way to 2018, with singles and compilations in between. Allegedly, a majority of his music was created with permission from the prison authorities when he was transferred to a different prison in Oregon. Somehow, he has been able to have some sort of social media presence, whether it's maintained by him or people that he knows. I personally do not know. Interestingly, there's a Tumblr, Vimeo, Facebook page, Bandcamp, Twitter, and more for him. Honestly, it was shocking to know this, considering how so many other people from the Manson family seem to have no contact with society otherwise. What shocked me the most, though, was that Beausoleil was a background singer on the album Freak Out by Frank Zappa and the Mothers of Invention. I have been a Zappa fan for over 10 years, and I had no idea about this. Apparently, he is not credited on the album itself, though you could find him credited on the Frank Zappa Wiki Jawaka. I'm not sure which songs he's on in particular, though I can only guess them potentially being "I'm Not Satisfied," "Motherly Love," "The End of Help I'm a Rock," or better known as "It Can't Happen Here," and "I Ain't Got No Heart," and potentially even "Go Cry on Somebody Else's Shoulder." I came across this fact in a way by accident when in general one night, once again, I was just looking up all of the people that ever even worked with Frank Zappa. So when I saw who Beausoleil was and what he was a part of, I was completely and utterly shocked. Now, do I know if he's going to continue creating art? Maybe, potentially. And in an even more crazy turn of events, you can also buy his music and art from him too, from his website. Not that I'm promoting it, I'm just saying.